Welcome to the Ed Newsstand podcast. I'm your host, Troy Reynolds. This is Season 4, Episode 16 of the podcast. In my last podcast, I talked about a lot of cool new updates to Lumio by Smart. However, because the video was so long, I left out a new update that is pretty amazing, and I want to give it its own segment. The feature is called Immersive Reader. With Immersive Reader, available text is read, highlighted as a whole, highlighted parts of speech in different colors, and students can click on words to be shown definitions in pictures. It's a pretty sweet feature. In TikTok Tech, Jeremy Michaelbook from @MrMichaelbook will show you a website students can use for indoor recess. In Tech Refresh, Casey Bell from @ShakeUpLearning will show you how to search your open tabs in Google Chrome. We've got a lot to get to, so let's not waste any more time. Let's dive in. Back to the new template that I've been using most of this year, looking at TikTok Tech and our indoor recess website, Tech Refresh, and how to search open tabs in your Chrome browser. And then last week, forgetting to mention one of the coolest accessibility new updates to Lumio by Smart, and that is Immersive Reader. So let's get into TikTok Tech. I live in northern Minnesota, and the past month and a half, we've had so much indoor recess because our temperature has just been freezing. So one of the cool websites that I came across from Mr. Michaelbook is Buddy Board Games. And one of the comments in his video was that, why don't you just let kids play the regular board games? Nowadays, kids don't really want to play regular board games. They'd rather play regular board games, but on their device. So if that's the way things are going to be going, then this is a wonderful website. Buddy Board Games, classic card and board games that your students can play against one another, but they can play on their own device. It's pretty sweet. They just pick a game, add their name, they come up with a room name, and then they can all join in playing the game. Let me show you what the website looks like and what it looks like then when two people are playing. This is buddyboardgames.com. We've got the Uno, Yahtzee, Connect 4, chess, checkers, spades, crazy eights, Farkle, this game called Oh Heck, Wizard, and then there's one at the top called Set. So you just are collecting a set of cards here in this brain twist to win. The way that it works though is pretty slick. Kids will click on a game, so let's click on Uno. When a student clicks on Uno, they put in their name, and I'm going to do this on my computer and on my iPad, and then they put in the name of the room that they want to play on together. So right now, I am going to have Troy Computer, and the room is going to be Podcast 1, and then on the iPad, I am going to have Troy iPad and Podcast 1, because the room name has to be identical. So I click Play Uno on my computer. Now I'm just waiting for another person to join. I've joined as a player on my iPad. It'll take just a second here, and now the people are connected. I'm going to click Start Game, and the person who started or was into the room first needs to start the game. So the computer was in first. I'll click Start Game on my computer. Now that the game has started, I can see on my computer, I can see my cards. I can't see the iPad cards. On the iPad, I can see the iPad cards, and of course not the computer cards. I, on the iPad, am able to go first, so I can play a card. I can play my 7 if I want to. I just drag it up and play that. And if I'm ready, I can call Uno down here at the bottom is where that is. And then it says Troy iPad didn't call Uno. Once the iPad is done playing, it automatically switches because now it's lit up and it's showing me the cards that I can only play. So let's play another 7 on the computer. And then you can see now that the iPad is lit up and students just play Uno back and forth on their individual devices. Buddyboardgames.com, a great way for students to play against one another in classic card and board games on their student device. In Tech Refresh, ShakeUpLearning came across one of their videos, and totally something that I have forgotten to mention in the past, but a great way for you to search your open tabs in Chrome. I've seen plenty of teacher machines where they have 18 million tabs open at the top, and they don't want to close their browser because they don't want to lose anything, but yet the browser tabs are so small, they have no idea what the browser tabs are. A great way for you to be able to search your browser tabs. Over in the top right-hand corner is a little drop-down arrow. It is Search Tabs. If you click on the Search Tabs menu, you can see up at the top you have the Open tabs, and I have 5 open tabs currently. And then I have recently closed tabs as well, and you'll get as many of those as this little Search Tabs area can hold. So you may only get a couple. You may have more closed tabs than you do open tabs just because you don't have that many open tabs. And it's great because if you just do a search, like if I type game, it will give me the tabs that I currently have open with games in them. And then it will also tell me any recently closed tabs that I have. So 4 days ago, I was on buddyboardgames.com. So it also shows me some recently closed tabs in this tab search. So quick, easy way if you have 8 million tabs open and you have no idea what they are, and you remember that one of them was a lesson that you were working on from Teachers Pay Teachers or something, just go up to your search tab and do a search for what you think is in the tab, and it will pop up. Even if it's recently closed, you're still going to get that information for you. So at Shake-Up Learning, telling you how to search your open tabs in Chrome. Getting to the main story in the newsletter this week is Lumio's Immersive Reader feature, and this thing is amazing. I can't even describe to you how great of an accessibility feature this is for students. So with the Immersive Reader, the available text for students, it will be able to be read to them. It will highlight portions of the text. Students can then also turn some of the text into parts of speech and make those different colors. So nouns, verbs, adjectives can all be different colors. Students can also click on words, and then the words will be shown as a definition of words, but also some of them will have the definition as a picture. So if they're having trouble reading the definition as a word or understanding what that means, they will get the definition as a picture. I have some pictures of what those tools are for the accessibility in Immersive Reader. There's also a little video down at the bottom, a couple-minute video from Lumio, actually walking you through and introducing Immersive Reader, because Immersive Reader didn't come out until January 21st, so it is relatively new. If you click on any of these images that are in the newsletter, it will redirect you to a Google drawing that I have published, and it will show these accessibility features in a little bit larger context. This is what the Google drawing looks like. If you click on one of those links, you'll be able to see all of the text preferences, and I'll kind of go through these. You can increase the text size, increase the spacing of the text. You can change between 3 different fonts, Calibri, Circa, and Comic Sans. You can also change the colors of the themes of the Immersive Reader. So if students have trouble reading a white background with black text, they can invert that and do black background on white text. There's gray, there's green, there's teal, there's yellow. So there are plenty of text preferences that you can change. Some of the grammar options that I mentioned, you can space the words out and see the syllables in the words that students are reading. And then you have parts of speech, and you can change the color of the parts of speeches. So in the default, nouns are purple, verbs are red, adjectives are green, and adverbs are kind of a mustardy yellow color. And then finally, the reading preferences are pretty cool. You can do by line focus. You can turn on and off the picture dictionary, which is what I mentioned by showing students the definition in picture form. And then you can also translate Immersive Reader by changing the language, and you can do it by word or you can do the whole document. Finally, one last thing that students can change is they can do the voice speed. So as Immersive Reader is read to students, they can increase the speed or they can decrease the speed if they need it faster or slower. And then they can also change the voice selection from female to male or male to female, vice versa. So let's show you how Immersive Reader works. If you don't remember from last week, this is the Lumio dashboard. I'm going to add an activity, the big green button, and I'm going to start from scratch. I don't need to add any other activity. I just want to add text that I can push out to students. So I click on New Page, and there are a ton of new templates that are available for students. This week I talked with a teacher about the graphed line and dotted paper because they work with students specifically in math, and they wanted graph paper that students could work on their math equations and put the equations right into specific boxes in the graph paper. And the great thing about that is you can push out one piece of graph paper to students, give them the question, they can write out the question and solve the problem, and then reset the page, and the page goes back to blank, and you can give the students a new question. For these purposes here, in this demonstration, I'm just going to have a blank page. I'm going to show you 2 different examples. One is going to be a teacher-led slide, and the second one is going to be a student handout. So on the first slide, I need to insert the text, so I click on the A, click anywhere in the text on the slide. I paste in the text. I'm going to clean up this big space up in the top. I've got that. I'm going to highlight it and make it a little bit larger just so that you can read it. And I'm going to make the text box a little bit bigger so that the formatting looks great. I can also move the text box around. So this slide, for my purposes, is all done. Now down in the bottom left-hand corner, I click on the plus. I'm going to add a new page, a new blank page, And I'm going to do the same thing, click on the text, click somewhere in the text box, paste. It remembers that I like size 36, so I paste in the text the exact same way I did before. I erase the gap that I had, and then this one is going to be the student handout. So to create a student handout, I click on the wand in the top right corner, make this page an individual handout activity, and now it's ready to go. I'm going to show you how this works. I do have the tools for the Immersive Reader as a teacher, so I'm going to finish editing. I need to give it a name, and then we can show you what it looks like from the teacher perspective and then from the student perspective. I finished saving. It has gone now to my dashboard. It is right here. I called it Immersive Reader. I'm going to click Start on the presentation. So now, as students have joined my class, they will get all these tools. Over on the left-hand side of my teacher dashboard, I do have this Immersive Reader look. I'm going to show you now what it looks like from the student perspective. This is on the student iPad. Over on the left-hand side, students also have this Immersive Reader feature right over here. It looks like a book with a little speaker on it. If students click on that book with the speaker, it highlights all of the text box that I put into this slideshow. And then at the very top, there is a blue little circle that students can use. So if I click on that blue little circle, it's going to automatically transform this document into the Immersive Reader. And the great thing about using the Immersive Reader with students is all of the tools that I mentioned previously, they are over here in the top right-hand corner. Students can make this a full-size page by clicking on the little arrows in the top right-hand corner. Now everything is in full screen mode, so I don't have to worry about anything. I mentioned that students can click on the two A's for the text preferences. Again, they can increase their text size, the spacing, the different font styles, and the themes to change that up. They can look at the syllables and the different parts of speech. So if I turn on nouns, you'll see now that in my Immersive Reader, all of the nouns have turned this purple color. If I don't like the purple color, I can certainly change the color to be maybe a blue, and it will turn all of my nouns blue. So all of those changed. And the last thing here is the line focus. So if I turn on line focus, it will focus just on a specific line as I am using the Immersive Reader. And I can change it to 1 line, I can change it to 3 lines. It's whatever the student is comfortable focusing their Immersive Reader on. I'm going to leave the picture dictionary on. And finally, with the translation feature, I can change it to various languages within Lumio. So for my purposes, I'm going to turn off the line focus. I'm going to leave the picture dictionary on, and I'm going to turn off the nouns, the parts of speech. So the great thing here is if I tap on a word, if I don't know a word, I can tap on it and it will read the specific word to me. It will also read the whole page to me if I'm working through that. If I click on the word tool, you can see that we have the picture dictionary with this as well. So if students see tool and they're like, I don't really understand what tool means, they can see here with the picture dictionary that tool is, oh, they're using this to make something else. Again, same up at the top. I have tool up at the top. Another example that I have here is see. It's showing me the picture dictionary to see. So it's giving the students a better idea of what the word means. But to get started with the reading, down at the bottom of the document, I have a sort of teal circle. I tap on the teal circle and it will start to read the document for me. And it moves through. And again, I can change the speed of this if I want to as well. I can pause this. I can make this bigger for my students so I get all of the tools. I'm going to pause. In my settings preferences, I can change the voice speed, and again, I can change the voice selection. So let's go back in here real quick and let's do a line focus down to this, and then let's play this again. So you can see I've got the line focus on, and anytime it moves, it changes the line focus. Immersive Reader is wonderful for students and teachers because then you can push something out to students and they can kind of work on things on their own. This is the teacher-led slide. Let me show you what it looks like from the on a student-led handout. So here now I'm in the student handout part of Immersive Reader. So I can look at student progress. From the student side of things, students have the handout that looks like this. They can go ahead and start this document whenever they like. And again, their Immersive Reader is going to be available for them on the left-hand side, along with several other tools. There's a text box. They can insert an image. They can use the pen tool on the side, and then at the bottom here is their reset tool to reset the page back to its original settings. If I'm on the teacher side of things, I can click on student progress and I can see the students that are in my class, and I can see exactly where their progress is and kind of what they are working on. So for example, if I'm on my iPad and I'm a student and I'm in here kind of messing around with things, I can see exactly what's happening from the teacher side of things and help to get them back on track. But it works the exact same whether or not you push Immersive Reader out as a student handout or you push the text out to students as a teacher-led slide. So this again, I'm on the student iPad, and you can see exactly from the student perspective. I just hit the reset and it resets the page for me, and I can go ahead and go back into my Immersive Reader tool and start to listen to this page and have this page read to me. Immersive Reader is an amazing tool, and I encourage you to try and use this as much as possible. Again, you do have to bring in a text box into Lumio. You can't just bring in a pre-made slide or a PDF. What I would recommend is if you have a slide like this and you want to use Immersive Reader, that you copy the text, paste it into Lumio before or as you're creating your lesson for students. That's it for this episode of the Ed Newsstand podcast. I really appreciate you listening to the podcast or watching the video version on YouTube, because I know your time is valuable. Please check out the resources in this week's newsletter about Immersive Reader in Lumio by SmartTech. A huge thank you to Jeremy Michaelbook from @MrMichaelbook for his great video on a classic card game website students can play together during inside recess or anytime they have free time on their iPad or any other mobile device. In Tech Refresh, Casey Bell from @ShakeUpLearning showed you how to search your open and closed tabs in Google Chrome. For more EdTech resources, you can follow me on social media. You can find me on Twitter @ReynoldsTroy and on Instagram and TikTok @ednewsstand. If you're listening on any podcast platform and would like to hear more, please like and subscribe to receive updates and have any new episode automatically downloaded for you. You can also revisit my previous episodes on any major podcasting platform like Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Google Podcasts. You can also check out the video version of my podcast over on my YouTube channel and check out any of the other video resources I have available. If you'd like to download my app to have my podcast and newsletters right on your smart device, please check it out at ednewsstand.glideapp.io and save it to your home screen. If you don't want the app but would like to check out my resources, please visit my website at ednewsstand.weebly.com. This is Troy Reynolds, and this is the Ed Newsstand Podcast. Hoping you were able to take away at least one idea for your classroom. Please be safe. Until next time.